Hello and welcome to the Irish Music Show, a brand new TV series where we chat to some of the stalwarts of Irish and country music, reminiscing about their time on the road and accompanied by some of their music videos. On this week's show we have Pat Jordan, also known as Pat Jordan and Finian's Rainbow. He also happens to be my old man. Hi Dad, how are you?
I'm good, Amanda, thank you.
So how's life in the music industry at the moment in this new COVID world?
Well, it's not very good at all, Amanda. I've done 3 gigs since lockdown. One happened to be last September when there was a slight ease up in restrictions, and I done a 90th birthday party to 30 people who had to be social distanced. And then I done a gig at the beginning of June this month down in Lowestoft. And actually there was 400 people there, and had to done it in sections of 200 at a time. It was a massive room, and what they did was they done 2 shows to 200 people each show. In between they had half an hour of cleansing the place, and it went really well. And then I done another show last week to a very small group of people again, usually a dancing venue, but it happened that night. They decided to go ahead with the show. And they done it just a sit-down small audience.
Yeah, it's been very difficult for musicians everywhere, but you're keeping the music alive. Absolutely,
yeah. Do the odd thing on Zoom to a few nursing homes just to keep the name out there and things like that, you know.
That's great. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. So from Ireland as a boy, you came here to the UK. So tell me how that came about.
How it came about is that I have a brother and sister living here in Manchester, of course your auntie and uncle, Maureen and Jack. And I'd been several times to the UK with my mother, and how it come about, I'd left school in Ireland and was working on the local farm. And 2 ladies who also had some family here in Manchester, had never travelled outside Ireland, wanted to come to Manchester. So, but they were scared of travelling on their own. So my mother come up with the idea that I should bring these 2 ladies over to Manchester, spend a couple of weeks with them, well, spend a couple of weeks with my brother and sister, and then take the 2 ladies back to Ireland. Okay. To this day, I don't know how the 2 ladies got back to Ireland, because when I got here, I decided to stay.
I love this story. So you effectively ran away and never went back.
I ran away and never went back. I wrote to my mum and dad and said that I actually went out and got a job. I was here a few days when I went out and got a job in a potato factory making pre-packed chips for restaurants and things. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now there's something I didn't know before.
There you go. Yeah.
So was the plan always to be a singer?
The plan was never to be a singer. I used to sing back home. When we were our house was called the Rambling House, where we used to have house dances every so often, and the fellas would come in with the old squeeze box and the fiddle, and we'd have a dance, and then everyone had to sing. Of course, my mother was a great singer, you know, God rest her, and but every song she sang was about 25 verses long, you know. But she was a fine singer, a cappella, with no music backing in those days, you know. And I used to be invited to sing a song when I was 13, 14, and purely by accident. I was working in Manchester, and a friend of mine, who I'm still very friendly with today, he was working with a guy in a pub in Manchester. He played the squeeze box, and anyway, the guy he was working with decided to pack it in. So he said to me, he said, "You sing a bit, will you come down and join me?" So I went down with a fella called Ned Brennan, a good friend of mine still, and Ned and we started off in this pub called the Gardener's Arms in Rusholme in Manchester, yeah. And I was playing the drums, and Ned was playing the squeeze box. Now, if they hang me for being a drummer, they'd be hanging an innocent man, but I was banging away on one drum, and Ned was playing the box, but we were doing all sorts. I mean, can you imagine things like Sugar Sugar being played on the squeeze box? And of course we were doing the old Irish stuff and the country stuff and what have you, and it was great. That's really how I started, you know, in the music business, yeah.
So you're known as the Wandering Wicklow Man, and we have a short video clip of you performing at the Irish World Heritage Centre in Manchester.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This time we're going to just rock it up a little bit here with a song that was written by a fella called Cliff Austin for us, and so let me hear entitled The Wandering Wicklow Man.
From Kerry up to Derry and from Cork to Donegal, from east to west I've known the best. I'm having me a ball. There's some I don't remember, but none could make me stay, 'cause I'm the wandering Wicklow man, and I must be on my way. Oh, some of them had green eyes, and some had brown eyes too. Some were grey or hazel, and some had eyes of blue. There were blonde brunettes and redheads, a silver lock or two. But I'm the wandering Wicklow man, and I'm just passing through. 'Cause I traveled round the country, well I guess I've seen them all. That's why I'm called a Wicklow man, by many I recall. And when my road show's over, the tears will quickly flow and flood the plains of Ireland from the girls I used to know. Oh, some of them had green eyes, and some had brown eyes too. Some were grey or hazel, and some had eyes of blue. There were blonde brunettes and redheads, a silver lock or two. But I'm the wandering Wicklow man, and I'm just passing through. Well, the girls I loved them many, and they came from far and wide. And I've met a few who said they'd like to take me for a ride in their car out in the country, but I knew I couldn't stay, 'cause I'm the wandering Wicklow man, and I must be on my way. Oh, some of them had green eyes, and some had brown eyes too. Some were grey or hazel, and some had eyes of blue. There were blonde brunettes and redheads, a silver lock or two. But I'm the wandering Wicklow man, and I'm just passing through. Hey, hey, yeah, I'm the wandering Wicklow man, but I'm just passing through.
So where did it go from there?
Where did it go from there? Well, I'll tell you what happened then. Ned had, still a couple of brothers who started learning to play instruments. And there was Mickey become a drummer, and then there was Jimmy Brennan, who was the keyboard player. So eventually the guys got so proficient at doing their jobs that we decided to start a band. And because Ned and Jimmy were twins, we decided to call the band the Twin Beats. And the guys didn't sing at that time. They all sing now, but Mickey and Ned. And I was the one that done the singing. So I've done all the singing, and the guys done the backing. And then from there, we developed from there to a band called we were playing one night again in Manchester, that happened. And a fella who happened to be on holiday from Ireland called John Keenan. John was in the audience, and he played with a band back home in Ireland. He was moving to Manchester, and he approached us and said, "You're not looking for an extra musician now?" So we were at the time we didn't have a bass player. So anyway, we said to John, "Yeah, join us," and John joined up, and then we changed the name of the band to the Ranchers Show Band, and from the Ranchers Show Band, then we were a 5-piece, and then John decided to go on rhythm guitar, and we applied to a really good bass player, singer from Dublin, a fellow called Christy Byrne. And then we become a 6-piece band, the Ranchers Show Band, and we toured all over the place, and really made a name for ourselves, So that was good. After several years with the Ranchers, then I decided I wanted a career change and I wanted to start my own band. And what happened was I was just starting my own band when a vacancy became available at the Carousel Club, which was a prestigious night spot. I mean, it was way before its time. The Carousel, I mean, it had all the psychedelic lighting back, in the 60s. And of course, I joined them and they were advertising for a lead singer. And I went along, didn't think for a minute that I would have a chance, because your mum always said to me when we used to go dancing there, I took your mum there, of course, for the first time when I first met her, and I took her, she'd never known about the Carousel. We went to see the famous Joe Dolan band. And she said to me after a while, she said, oh, God, wouldn't it be great to sing with a band like that? And anyway, that's what happened. I went down and auditioned for the job, and I got the job and was with the Carousel band for several years. And eventually the band leader, who's still a very good friend of mine, the drummer, Jerry Flynn, Jerry decided to leave for career reasons, and I took over then as the band leader, where, of course, I become friendly with all the major bands of the day, because it was my job to be not just the lead singer, but you're also the compere. So I introduced people like Big Tom and Joe Dole and Brendan Boyer and those guys who were huge in the Irish music entertainment business. Yeah.
Great days.
Great days indeed, yeah, yeah.
So from the Ranches to the Carousel, so how did Finian's Rainbow come about?
Well, Finian's Rainbow came about, Amanda, that I was with the Carousel for so many years, and then I just got itchy feet. After being on the road with the Ranches, I wanted to go back on the road. I wanted to see new faces. I wanted to travel up and down the length and breadth of the country, basically. So I formed a band with no name, as it happens, and we used to rehearse every Sunday afternoon at St. Wilfrid's, and Father McMahon used to let us in. And after we finished rehearsing, he'd come and lock up. So we were sat there mulling over a name, and Father McMahon come in to lock up. We said, Father, we need a name for the band. He says, I've got a name for you. He says, Finian's Rainbow. Just like that. That was how Finian's Rainbow come about.
Great.
Yeah.
So you recently returned to Parkbridge, which was the area you were brought up in Ireland. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we actually went over to record a video with the Rich TV, and we recorded a particular song, the title track actually, called The Passing of Time, written by a guy called Frank Nelson, an Ireland great songwriter. And it was around my home place, shows my house, my cottage where I was brought up, and my old school, and yeah, all around Parkbridge, County Wicklow, yeah.
Well, let's take a look at that video.
Lovely.
My mind it fair wanders in a state of confusion. My face it is wet from the tracks of my tears. My body is old and faded with age. As I write this letter, I can hardly see the page. So I'll hold my hand to stop it from shaking. With the help of this pen, I'll let my heart do the talking. So heart, don't hold back on all of my story. Take your time and I'll listen, I'm not in a hurry. In my mind there's a picture with the prettiest flowers. A starlighted sky lights up
my twilight hours. Some memories of my childhood are fresh in my mind. And there's nothing so fast as the passing of time. Since I was a child, it don't seem long ago. When I add it all up, it's 8 decades ago. And I am so grateful for the years have been kind. But there's nothing so fast as the passing of time. In my mind there's a picture with the prettiest flowers. The starlighted sky lights up my twilight hours. Some memories of my childhood are fresh in my mind. There's nothing so fast as the passing of time. If I live to be 100, and that's a long time, there's nothing so fast as the passing of time. There's nothing so fast as the passing of time.
So tell us a little bit about who have been your musical influences during your time in the industry.
Buck Owens was my country music influence, and I guess my pop influence was Neil Diamond. And my Irish influence was a fella called Joe Lynch, who he was also an actor. He appeared in a drama series, or a funny comedy called Never Mind the Quality, Feel the Wit. But he was a great singer, and he was my Irish influence.
Okay, so lots of musical influences.
Lots of musical
different
influences, yeah,
genres,
of course.
yeah. And you've also had some experience in the film industry, so tell us a little bit about that.
My claim to fame there was I appeared in, myself and the band, we appeared at Snort Snippet in a film with Julie Walters and Paul Reiser, and of course Ricky Tomlinson was in it, called My Beautiful Son. We had a bit part in that, playing on a stage.
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
Beautiful film as well.
And then with some friends of mine, not with Finian's Rainbow, we'd done a small thing in Coldfield with James Nesbitt. Yeah.
Yeah, so a man of many talents.
Oh, no, what?
So if memory serves me right, you had a hit song a good few years ago called Two of a Kind. Tell me a little bit about how that came about.
Well, how that song came about actually was after the death of Princess Diana and Mother Teresa. They both sort of passed away around the same time. And I had a phone call from an old gentleman who sadly passed away since, called Mick Mackin. He said, I've got an idea for a song. He said, can you come up to the house? I went up to Mick, and we sat down to write this song. I had a bit part in it. Mick had most of it in his head. And Mick had a cigarette, as he did at the time, and I had a cup of coffee. And by the time the cigarette was smoked and the coffee was drank, we had written a song called Two of a Kind, and it was about Mother Teresa and Princess Diana. Yeah.
Do you have any advice that you would give to aspiring songwriters?
Well, to tell you the truth, man, I didn't do much songwriting as such. I had bit parts in songwriting. Like I said, I co-wrote that one with Mick, and then there was a couple of other things that we've done. But then I had a bit part in writing a song called "It's Good to Be Alive" with a friend. Well, it's her name is Tess Jordan, and no relation, who happened to meet on an event we were playing at in Spain, and I found out that Tess sings a few songs, and she also writes some good songs. And so Tess wrote this song called "It's Good to Be Alive," and I'd done a bit part. I wrote the choruses to it, and that's that's about it. Songwriting, I don't think I could offer much in the to people, because there's some great songwriters out there. You
There
know,
are, yeah.
some really good songwriters. Yeah.
So now let's have a listen to It's Good to Be Alive.
I woke up this morning full of joy inside. Looking out the window, I saw a clear blue sky. I was bubbling with excitement, so full of love and pride. I just couldn't help but feeling it was good to be alive. So sing a little melody whenever you feel sad, and try and think of others who may be feeling bad, and count your many blessings for the beauty that's inside, and sing out every morning, it's so good to be alive. I stepped out on my journey, prepared to meet the day, and all the different people that chanced to cross my way. Some of them were happy, and some of them looked sad. The world is full of troubles, and for that I did feel bad. So sing a little melody whenever you feel sad, and try and think of others who may be feeling bad, and count your many blessings for the beauty that's inside, and sing out every morning, it's so good to be alive. I wanted to greet everyone and make them come alive. See the beauty I could see, and not to be so blind. We take so much for granted and never really see the beauty that surrounds us. So thank God that I am me. So sing a little melody whenever you feel sad, and try and think of others who may be feeling bad, and count your many blessings for the beauty that's inside, and sing out every morning, it's so good to be alive. So spread a little happiness wherever you may go. Things will only get better if you believe it so. I hope all your tomorrows will bring you joy and pride, and you'll wake up each morning saying, thank God that I'm alive. So sing a little melody whenever you feel sad, and try and think of others who may be feeling bad, and count your many blessings for the beauty that's inside, and sing out every morning, it's so good to be alive. And sing out every morning, it's so good to be alive.
So during the show, we'll be featuring some up-and-coming artists in the coming weeks. What advice would you have for anyone trying to break into the music industry?
I think the main thing is just be yourself, and not get above your station, and remember your roots. Kids these days come into the music business. There's so much for them there now with social media and everything else, you know. I mean, we didn't have TV shows and things when I was starting off in the business, and I think that's best. Just remember your roots, basically, you know, and don't get above your station.
So you're 70 years young now.
That's correct.
So what's next for the man who has spent nearly 50 years in the entertainment industry?
Well, if the good Lord spares me the health to just carry on doing what I'm doing and sing and entertain people and keep people happy as long as they want to hear me.
So that brings us to the end of show 1. We hope you've enjoyed it, folks. Over the coming weeks, we'll have some interesting presenters and artists for you. We look forward to seeing you again next week.